Hi, another film I watched this week was Quiz Show, the 1994 dramatization of the quiz show scandal of the late 1950s in the US. What occurred was that the hit TV show 21 was in fact feeding the answers to the upcoming questions to its contestants so that they were able to stay on the show for long periods of time, garner increased ratings and advertising revenue for their sponsor Geritol, a supposed nerve tonic that could revive tired blood, but which apparently was completely ineffective on anyone who wasn't severely anemic. It was exposed when one long-running contestant, a New York Jewish unemployed man, as far as I could see, called Herb Stempel, was outraged at being edged out of the show and decided to take the matter up with the authorities. Well, his successor as ongoing champion was Charles Van Doren, son of a very wealthy and high-profile academic family. And he was seen as being the clean-cut, all-American type, the intellectual heavyweight who could inspire a generation towards education, but was in fact cheating in every episode, being fed the answers in advance. It's a fascinating movie. It's a story of the very first moments when uh, trust in America as being morally unimpeachable fell apart. Before Vietnam, before Kennedy, there was this. There was the TV shows that were lying to the public, that were holding up these people as being these intellectual heavyweights, these walking encyclopedia, but were in fact just giving these people the answers in advance, saying, "Oh, it's a TV show, it's entertainment," regardless of how many people they were lying to. Robert Redford directs very nimbly and very adeptly. The story is very carefully handled, but it's a film that relies, I think, in the performances, as the moral character of the different personalities varies and fluctuates over the course of the story. John Turturro as Stemple, I think, is superb. The key is that he is a thoroughly obnoxious person, but he's also incredibly knowledgeable. That he didn't need to take the answers because he really did know them all. He was a walking mine of information, but every time we see him, he's also incredibly dislikable. And I think that's the the great conflict at the center of the story, that he deserved to be the winner because he knew the answers, but he was also a real jerk. Whereas Van Doren initially believes himself to be uh, very morally pure and has his concerns about what he's doing assuaged by having such a positive impact. The consequences of you being this big star will be so positive that it initially soothes his thoughts, but it gradually builds up over time. Ray Fiennes is excellent in the role. Paul Scofield was Oscar nominated for playing his father, the poet Mark Van Doren, although it's really, I think, a nomination for the fact that it was Paul Scofield. And Turturro really should have been nominated instead. But there are fine performances across the board. Rob Morrow is the Boston investigator who uncovers everything. There are some nice supporting performances by Martin Scorsese and Barry Levinson, for paying homage to other talented directors. And it's a really engaging, very uh, engrossing story. It really makes you feel that time and place, even though the idea of this crime happening in plain sight and no one really doing anything about it and everyone just getting away with it um, doesn't feel like it's dated at all. Um, of the Redford films I've seen as a director, I think this is probably his best by some margin, although there's a few others I've got to watch. I recommend this very highly. It's a fascinating story that's no longer really talked about, but I think there's definitely a lot we can learn from it today.